I used to think I had a good life, a stable one at least. Maybe not perfect. Candy and I had our rough patches, but who doesn't? We'd been together for 5 years, married for 3. I worked hard, kept my head down, tried to be a good husband. I wasn't some kind of alpha male, but I loved my wife, and I thought that meant something. Then everything changed. I don't know exactly when it started. Maybe I was too blind to see it at first, or maybe she just got better at hiding it. But one day I noticed the way Candy's phone was always just a little too close to her, the way she suddenly had to stay late at work more often than not. And then there was the look in her eyes when she thought I wasn't watching, like I was furniture, a thing to be tolerated. I ignored it at first, told myself I was overthinking. Then came the night I found the proof. I had just come home from work, tired, ready to kick back with a beer and a bad TV show. I walked into our bedroom, peeling off my tie, and that's when I saw them, her panties, crumpled on the floor. At first I thought nothing of it, until I picked them up, the stain, the smell. I felt my stomach drop, my throat tightened. It wasn't mine. For a few seconds I just stood there, frozen, gripping the fabric so hard my fingers ached. I could hear the sound of the shower running in the bathroom. Candy humming softly, oblivious. I should have burst in right then, demanded an answer, but I didn't. Instead, I put the panties back where I found them, and I started watching. The next few weeks were hell. I barely slept. I barely ate. I'd lie awake at night, listening to Candy breathing beside me, wondering if she was dreaming about him, whoever the fuck he was. And then I found out. Jake Hudson, CEO of her company, rich, confident. The kind of man who could walk into a room and own it. The kind of man who didn't ask, he took. I tracked her phone, listened to her calls, installed a small camera in the living room, something I hated myself for, but I had to know. And then I saw them. Candy, in our house, on our couch, laughing, moaning, Jake's hands on her body, his mouth on her neck. I gritted my teeth so hard I thought they'd crack. It wasn't just the betrayal, it was the way she looked at him, like he was everything, like I was nothing. I wanted to kill him, I wanted to kill her, but I didn't. Instead, I planned. A family dinner, that's all it took. Candy invited Jake, of course. She didn't even bother to hide it. "He's been such a great mentor," she told me, smiling. "I really want you to meet him." Oh, I was going to meet him. The night of the dinner, I watched as Candy got ready, the same way she used to for me, hair perfect, makeup flawless, a dress I'd never seen before, hugging her body in ways that made my fists clench. I stayed quiet, smiled when I needed to. Then Jake arrived. 30 minutes earlier, he had been in bed with my wife, and now he stood in my home, shaking my hand like he was the fucking king of the world. And then he said it. "Tim, huh? It's great to meet you, man. You know, Candy's talked so much about you. I feel like we're practically family." And then he smirked. "As a matter of fact, you could say I'm her big brother." Candy's lips twitched. She was enjoying this. They were enjoying this. I swallowed the rage clawing its way up my throat. I didn't say a word, not yet. I just smiled, because I knew what was waiting outside. I met Candy when I was 28, working as an IT consultant for a mid-sized firm. I wasn't the kind of guy women threw themselves at. I was quiet, kept to myself, and never had much luck in the dating scene. But when I met Candy, it felt different. She was beautiful, not in that unattainable supermodel way, but in a real vibrant kind of way. She had this energy about her, like she was always the center of the room without even trying. When she smiled at me for the first time, I felt like I had won the lottery. We met at a coffee shop, one of those cliché moments where I accidentally took her drink order. Instead of being annoyed, she laughed, touched my arm, and told me I owed her another. One date turned into 3, then 5, then suddenly she was the most important part of my life. She made me feel important. I should have seen the red flags, but love makes you blind. She was always ambitious, always looking for something bigger. I thought it was just drive, that she wanted the best for us. When she landed a job at Hudson Enterprises working directly under Jake Hudson, she was ecstatic. She told me this was her big break, that she'd finally be in a position where we could build a real future. At the time, I was happy for her. I encouraged her. We talked about kids, a house, everything a husband and wife were supposed to want together. But now, looking back, I realize I was the only one dreaming about that future. She just wanted more, and I wasn't enough. Candy and I had talked about children. I wanted a family. She always told me, maybe later. She had excuses, her career, finances, timing. But now I knew the truth. She didn't want my children. She wanted to keep her options open, to keep playing the game. And I was the fool who kept waiting. At dinner, I felt like a guest in my own home. Jake sat at my table, drinking my wine, eating the food my wife had cooked for him. Candy looked at him like he was the greatest man alive, and I just sat there, clenching my fists under the table, grinding my teeth so hard I thought they might crack. I wasn't a fighter, never had been. I was the quiet guy, the one who backed down from confrontation. But this was different. When dinner was over, Jake gave me that smug grin. "Hey, Tim, how about we step outside, have a little chat?" Candy didn't say a word. She just watched. I followed him out, knowing this wasn't just going to be a chat, and I was right. 3 men were waiting for me. Big guys. The kind of men who don't hesitate to hurt someone. I barely had time to react before the first fist slammed into my gut, knocking the wind out of me. A second hit cracked against my ribs, sending me stumbling back. Then a boot to my knee. I hit the ground hard, pain shooting through my leg. They didn't stop. One grabbed me by the collar, pulled me up just to slam me down again. Another sent a fist into my jaw. Blood filled my mouth, and through it all I heard Candy laughing. I was on my hands and knees, gasping for breath. My vision blurred. Jake crouched next to me, patting my cheek like I was some pathetic stray dog. "See, Tim, some men are made to lead, and some are made to lose." Then he stood up, adjusting his expensive suit like nothing had happened. "Let's go," he told Candy. I heard her heels clicking against the pavement as she walked away. They left me there, broken, beaten. And as they drove off, I reached for my jacket. My fingers found the cold steel of my magnum, and then I made my decision. Candy never loved me. Not really. Not in the way a wife should love her husband. I didn't realize it at first. Hell, maybe even she didn't. Maybe in the beginning she thought she loved me, or at least she loved what I represented. Stability. A loyal, hard-working husband who would never cheat, never leave, never make her feel insecure. But Candy didn't want stability. She wanted power, and that's why she let Jake Hudson take everything from me. Candy's motivation. I pieced it together in the hours after they left me bleeding in the dirt. Candy was always ambitious. Even back when we were first dating, she hated being second best. She was smart, charming, and knew how to manipulate a room, but in her mind, she was always meant for bigger things. She saw our marriage as a stepping stone. When she started working under Jake, things changed. She'd come home talking about his influence, his wealth, the way people respected him. At first, I thought it was admiration. I was a fucking idiot. It was worship. Jake represented everything she really wanted: power, control, someone who could dominate a room with a single smirk. And I was in the way. At some point, their affair wasn't just about lust, it was about removing me. Jake probably whispered in her ear that I was weak, that I couldn't give her the life she deserved. And Candy, selfish, opportunistic, heartless Candy, didn't hesitate to believe him. She wanted to break me. That's why she brought Jake to dinner. That's why she smirked while he called himself my big brother. That's why she watched as 3 men beat me half to death and laughed. She didn't just want to leave me, she wanted to humiliate me, to crush me so completely that when she walked away, there wouldn't be anything left. And maybe, she thought I'd just take it, crawl away like a beaten dog, accept my fate. But she forgot something. Even a beaten dog will bite when it has nothing left to lose. The nuclear revenge. My hands shook as I pulled my magnum from my jacket, the metal still warm against my palm. The taste of blood filled my mouth. My ribs screamed with every breath, but my mind was clear. I wasn't going to let this be the end of my story. This was just the beginning. I wiped the blood from my lip, climbed to my feet, and started walking. By the time I reached home, the house was dark, empty. She was gone, probably at his place. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the wedding photo on the wall, the one where she had smiled at me like I was her entire world. That was the last time I let myself feel pain. Then I got to work. Jake was powerful, untouchable to most people. But I wasn't going after him like most people would. I knew something Candy and Jake didn't. I was smart, smarter than they ever gave me credit for, and I had proof. Jake wasn't just some arrogant CEO, he was a dirty businessman. Shady deals, offshore accounts, money laundering, things I had stumbled across when I looked into him after discovering the affair. And now, I was going to use everything. I spent the night digging through files, downloading encrypted backups, gathering everything I needed, emails, transactions, recordings, enough to burn his entire fucking empire to the ground. By dawn, I had a plan. The final move. 2 days later, Jake Hudson was all over the news. Financial fraud, tax evasion, RICO charges. The SEC, the FBI, every agency that mattered was kicking down his door. His company's stock plummeted, investors ran. Jake was finished. And Candy? Oh, she tried to play the victim, tried to act like she hadn't spent the last 6 months spreading her legs for him. But guess what? I had her emails too. I had video recordings, photos, bank statements. I sent them everywhere, to her friends, her family, her fucking boss. She lost her job, her reputation, everything. And the best part? She had no idea it was me, because I never confronted her, never gave her the satisfaction of seeing my anger. I just watched as the life she burned me for collapsed around her. I was patient. I let her think she'd won. And then, when she had nothing left, when she was sitting alone in a cheap motel, abandoned by everyone who once kissed the ground she walked on, I sent her a single message. Was it worth it? Epilogue. Jake Hudson went to prison. Candy disappeared. Last I heard, she was bartending in some no-name town, a shell of the woman she used to be. And me. I walked away clean, no guilt, no regrets. Because in the end, I wasn't the weak man they thought I was. I was just the one who knew how to wait. And when the time was right, I fucking ended them. I should have seen it coming. Every damn sign was there. The late nights, the secret smiles, the way she started dressing just a little too nice for work. And then there was him, Jake fucking Hudson, the CEO, the alpha. The kind of man who didn't just take what he wanted, he expected it to be handed to him. And Candy? She handed herself over without a second thought. But what she didn't know, what he didn't know, was that I wasn't the man they thought I was. They wanted to break me, humiliate me, erase me. Instead, I burned their entire fucking world to the ground, and I didn't even have to lift a finger. The setup. After they left me bleeding in the dirt, I made a choice. I could let this be the end. I could crawl away, drink myself into oblivion, disappear like they wanted, or I could make sure they never forgot my name. So I did what Candy never thought I was capable of. I played her game. I started watching, listening, waiting. See, Candy was sloppy. She thought she had already won. She didn't bother to cover her tracks. Her emails, wide open, her work laptop, unsecured, her phone, easily cloned. And Jake. He thought he was untouchable, billionaire, CEO, a man with enough money to rewrite the rules. But money can't save you when you don't see the knife coming. I spent weeks gathering everything, financial records, private conversations, pictures and videos that would make his board of directors have a fucking heart attack. By the time I was done, I had a digital nuke in my hands, and then I set it off. The first strike. It started with a leak, a quiet little email sent to a few key journalists, just enough to make them dig, then the bank records, Offshore accounts, tax fraud, insider trading, it was all there. The story spread like wildfire. Jake Hudson wasn't a visionary businessman. He was a criminal. The feds got involved. The SEC started circling. And then, just when it couldn't get any worse, the videos dropped. Jake, Candy, hotel rooms, offices, private jets, everything. The footage was everywhere. News sites, social media. Hell, someone even posted it on fucking Reddit. Jake's reputation was obliterated overnight. His company's stock tanked. Investors pulled out. His board voted him out before the feds even had a chance to put handcuffs on him. But the best part? Candy had no idea who did it. The second strike. While Jake's empire crumbled, I made sure Candy went down with it. I sent her emails to her boss, her colleagues, her friends. I exposed the bonuses she had received, money funneled directly from Jake's dirty accounts. I made sure everyone saw what she really was, a homewrecker, a gold digger, a pawn in a game she never even knew she was playing. She lost her job. Her friends abandoned her. Even her family refused to take her calls. And just when she thought it couldn't get any worse, I sent her the divorce papers. With one final condition, she got nothing. The final strike. 1 month later, Jake Hudson was in jail. Candy, she was nowhere. Rumor had it she was living in some rundown apartment, working a dead-end job, drowning in debt she never saw coming. She tried calling me. Once, begged me to talk, to explain. I let the call go to voicemail, then I sent her a single message. Was it worth it? And then, I blocked her number. For good. The endgame. People like Jake and Candy think they own the world. They think they can take whatever they want and walk away clean. But they forget one thing. The quiet ones, the ones they think are weak, we're the ones who watch. We're the ones who wait. And when we finally strike, we don't miss. Most revenge stories end when the villain is defeated, when the hero walks away, leaving behind the smoldering ruins of the enemy's empire. But real life doesn't work like that. After I took everything from Jake and Candy, I expected to feel something, relief, satisfaction, maybe even peace. But what I felt, what haunted me, wasn't any of that. It was emptiness. For years, I had built my life around a woman who never truly loved me. I worked to provide for a marriage that was rotting from the inside, and when it all crumbled, I realized I had nothing left. But the world didn't stop turning just because my old life was over, so I did what I had always done. I got up, I moved forward, and I waited. Because I knew Candy wasn't finished, not yet. The return of Candy. It started with small things, a blocked number calling me late at night, an unfamiliar car parked near my street, a feeling, one I couldn't shake, that someone was watching. Then one evening I came home and found an envelope taped to my front door. Inside was a single photograph. Candy, skinny, hollow-eyed, sitting in some dingy bar, nursing a drink she probably couldn't afford. On the back, scrawled in shaky handwriting, was a message. "We need to talk." I almost threw it away, almost ignored it. But some part of me, some stupid self-destructive part, knew this wasn't over. So the next night I went looking for her. The meeting. I found her exactly where I expected, a cheap bar on the edge of town, the kind of place where people went when they had nowhere else to go. She was sitting in a corner booth, her fingers wrapped around a half-empty glass of whiskey. Her once perfect hair was tangled. Her makeup was smudged. When she looked up at me, I saw something I had never seen before. Defeat. "Tim," she murmured, her voice hoarse, "I knew you'd come." I sat down across from her, keeping my face blank. "What do you want, Candy?" She laughed, a dry, bitter sound. "What do I want? What do you think?" She gestured around the room. "Look at me, Tim. I have nothing, nothing." I didn't say anything. She leaned forward, lowering her voice. "You did this, didn't you?" I tilted my head. "Did what?" Her hands curled into fists. "Don't fucks with me. The emails, the videos, the fucking FBI raid. I just stared at her. She exhaled sharply. Jesus Christ, I should have known. For a long moment, we just sat there. Then she spoke again, softer this time. You ruined me. I leaned forward, my voice cold. You ruined yourself. Her lips trembled. She stopped, swallowing hard. Tim, listen, I made a mistake. I laughed. I actually laughed. A mistake? Candy, you didn't just cheat on me. You destroyed me. You watched while they beat me into the fucking pavement. Her eyes darted away. She didn't deny it. She didn't even try. Instead, she whispered, I want another chance. My blood turned to ice. Excuse me? She reached for my hand. I pulled away. I know I fucked up, she murmured. I was stupid. I let Jake. Her voice caught. He used me, Tim, just like he used everyone else. And when everything fell apart, he left me to take the blame. She looked up at me, eyes shining with unshed tears. But you're not like him. My stomach twisted. I knew what she was doing. I had seen her play this game before, but some sick part of me, some part that still remembered the old Candy, almost wanted to believe her. Almost. Then I remembered her laughter as I lay bleeding on the ground, and just like that, the moment passed. I leaned back, shaking my head. No, Candy. She blinked. What? You don't get a second chance. Her face crumpled. Tim, please. I stood up, and for the first time in my life, I walked away before she could hurt me. The final ending. I never saw Candy again after that night. I don't know where she went, and I don't care. I rebuilt my life. I started over. And for the first time in years, I felt free. But every now and then, I catch myself thinking about her. Not because I miss her, not because I still love her, but because I wonder, did she ever really love me at all? I guess I'll never know. And honestly, I don't need to. The past is dead, and I have no intention of looking back.